Immediate reaction from the final group game for the United States men's national team against Canada in the Gold Cup. First of all, I'm looking forward to the end of the group play. The Gold Cup has been really a hard watch. Empty stadiums, mismatches, not enough compelling stories, especially when you compare it to what we just saw elsewhere, namely the European Championships. So the quarterfinals are going to be much better because there is a clear line between the top 7. I think you can have more good CONCACAF teams than previous. Jamaica's better. Obviously, Canada's better. Costa Rica, Honduras remain firm. And then the United States and Mexico. Who am I forgetting? Did I say Jamaica? Doesn't matter. But then there's you have those 7, 8 teams, and then there's a big drop-off. So the quarterfinals are going to be good. So we get to look forward to that. Before the USA game, the 11 came out. It's a little mixed bag, right? A little mixed bag. Some of those fresh faces that we saw in the victory over Martinique stay in the lineup. Daryl Dike, Gianluca Busio. We'll get to both of them because to me they were, if not the 2 worst Americans on the day, then 2 of the 3 or 4. Walker Zimmerman was in there. He had to come out due to an injury. That was unfortunate. By the way, on that play where he got injured with Larea, that is a stone-cold penalty. Matt Doyle, who works for MLS, had a great tweet. He said, American fans who don't think that was a penalty, if the roles were reversed, you would be screaming bloody murder. Canada should have had a penalty. Probably should have been a tie. And I guess that's what you take away from this. Everyone wants to criticize the U.S. And what we see, the product, it's hard not to. That was an ugly football match. Ugly. And you can criticize Greg Berhalter for some of the switches or lack thereof because they weren't made and were screaming at the TV, or if you were lucky enough to be at the stadium, looked like a lovely day in Kansas City. Very hot. That you could be screaming at the TV saying, make an adjustment. He shouldn't be out there. The introduction of Donovan Pines, I don't want to pick on young kids, but he shouldn't be on the national team right now. That was bizarre, the plays that he was making. Completely shut out or shut down, was not involved. That can't happen. Can't have players up there at this level, even though it's a B team, doing this. This is the Soccer OG. Subscribe. Share this video. Like it. Hit the subscribe button. Sunday, chilling out. Long work weekend. Saturday, my voice is a little bit gone because I was calling the LAFC game and Carlos Vela had an incredible goal, so I lost my voice a little bit. So I didn't really bust out the good threads. But hit that subscribe button and we will get into it. The Soccer OG, we'll have one of these after every USA game. We'll be in Las Vegas. I haven't firmed that up. It will be in Las Vegas for the final. Mark Davis of the Raiders, the son of Al Davis, the owner. Now the owner, Mark Davis, was at the game. Maybe they're sniffing around about an MLS team in Las Vegas. Makes sense. Sacramento out. Why not Las Vegas? Another reason to go to Sin City, and I'll line up and play some blackjack at my favorite place, O'Shea's. I also like the little horse, the mechanical horse racing game. That's very good. So we got the young players. We got them in there, and it didn't go great. And I think we're going to see that old group back. I can almost guarantee Jackson Ewell is going to be in the starting 11. I want him in there because remember we talked about Gianluca Busio last time. Defensive frailties. But I didn't think it would get this bad. He was getting overrun again and again and again. And it's clear as today he might be able to get a little better at the defensive part. But in any situation he plays, and I compared him to Andrea Pirlo, you need to have someone covering. You need to have someone covering him. If you want to play Busio, you've got to have someone directly attached to him, cleaning up messes, helping in support, being firm in some tackles, because Busio's not going to do it. Piet, the midfielder, who I've never seen do much in the form of attack, he was running circles around him. It was really troubling. So I think Busio goes back to the bench. Got to find a good way to use him. We do this with a lot of players. The same thing I'm saying about Serginho Dest. Where do we play him? Because he's a defensive liability. And I think Busio there, we can't have that. Now, that said, we won the group, we won the game, we got a clean sheet. So with criticism coming out, we got to temper it a little bit. And we can be critical of Greg Berhalter, but there's too much criticism of Greg Berhalter. The time will come when he'll have a bad result. But so far, he has gotten everyone into camp. He's given more guys than you can shake a stick at an opportunity. He's looked at everybody. Everything he has said he was going to do, he has done. He won the Nations League. He's won the group in the Gold Cup. If he loses in the quarterfinals of this competition, then maybe we can heap onto it. Because just some of the tactics, not crazy about it. But it worked against Martinique. Essentially, it worked against Canada, which brings me up to early goals. The United States scoring 20 seconds in. Shaq Moore, Florida boy, getting it done. He's been very good. He's been good. This wasn't his best game, but he did have the goal. And I tweeted at the time, big fan of goals 20 seconds in. I would like to rescind that tweet. I am not a big fan of goals 20 seconds in. We have now seen 2 examples of it and how treacherous they can be. England scoring the quickest goal in the Euro final history and then trying to hang on to it, which they did not, losing to Italy. That goal early adjusted everything. They went into a shell. They moved away from things that were working. Similar thing with the U.S. They held out for another 10, 15 minutes, and then Canada started clicking, overran the midfield of the United States. That midfield needed help all game long. That was my issue with Greg Berhalter. That midfield needed help, and Busio was getting exposed. So Canada rushed, and then we got to the half. Okay, all right, adjustments. No adjustments. Canada kicked the ball, got down there again. Probably could have had another penalty. There was a play where they pushed Larea. Was it Miles Robinson? But don't put your hands on anyone. This is CONCACAF. They'll call a penalty in a heartbeat. How lucky you can be. They will call a penalty. Ref was really good, by the way, although I did think that was the Canadian penalty in the first, but I thought he had good control. You got to be crazy. You will get punished for that in other games. Don't do it. Don't touch him. So Canada overran the United States for the majority of the second half, took the possession edge, shot edge, everything, possession, passing. And then some adjustments came. It was a very weird situation. And USA were living on scraps. They were way back, and there were a lot of issues. Again, I want this to be positive because the US have done everything they were supposed to do. But let's go through. I'll keep the positive track. James Sands, and everyone on the broadcast and on Twitter screaming his praises, and rightfully so. He is a special player, and they heaped so much responsibility on him, and he, by and large, answered the bell every time. He kind of slipped into the midfield later to help Busio. That didn't work, but that's not on Sands. Greg Berhalter was doing something here. He was going, I want to see what this guy has, and if he can answer the bell. He answered the bell. A passing center back, you think of the great German liberos like Beckenbauer, and I'm not comparing him, even though I've dropped a Pirlo and a Becker, and a Franco Baresi, or who is the Italian? Lothar Matthäus, great passing defenders. He's got that. Those guys are worth their weight in gold. James Sands, and the fact that he can play in the midfield, what a wonderful development. James Sands is the bright spot here. I would put Matt Turner second. He is so solid. There's no dribbling the ball. He identifies the attacks. He bailed out his defenders a couple times. He's just locked in. He's just a wonderful goalkeeper, and to me, he's the number one, almost clear cut at this point. I know not everyone agrees with that. The back line was good despite some of the moves around. Hey, they got a clean sheet, but the shots start to pile up, but they were pretty good clearing some balls away, corners, crosses. Miles Robinson, solid. Donovan Pines, I don't know what to say. And that gives James Sands even more credit because he had this kid who was missing in action, and he had to cover for him a couple times. That's more responsibility. He took it. Gyasi Zardes, so you had the two forwards. The two forwards didn't work today. But Zardes went and looked for work. Daryl Dike did not. Daryl Dike, this was a real troubling turn-off situation. He was losing 50-50 balls. He was being dispossessed. His passing was erratic at best. I don't know how he lasted that 90 minutes, but I think, like Busio, Daryl Dike might be returning to the bench. Jackson Yule's coming in, so get ready for it. And I feel better with Yule in a quarterfinal game right now than Busio. Dike probably going to the bench as well, and maybe there's a formation shift, which is good for the U.S. because it keeps opponents on their toe. They're going to face either Jamaica or Costa Rica. We'll find out on Tuesday. Either one is a very challenging matchup for the U.S., so be prepared for that. I'm just looking for it. That game is going to be on Sunday. Yes, it's Costa. Just check the news. So a week off between games? That is absurd. That is absurd. In this day and age where we have to give these players a break, you're giving them a week. This tournament should last 2.5 weeks. Play Wednesday, you play weekend, and then it's going to be another week. It's not even a tournament. These guys can go have a vacation and come back. Come on. Stop trying to make money all the time. Play it like a normal tournament. It takes all the excitement out. You're ramping up and you go, USO, whoa, what happened? Oh, that's back on again? It doesn't work. I know this is not going to be heard, but what can I tell you? So those guys will probably move to the bench. Very physical game. The defense did look shaky, but they got the clean sheet. But Zardes was good. Daryl Dike was not. Matthew Hoppe, I'm glad he came in. I think he should start in the next game. Maybe he plays off Zardes, who was good. I think, and we mentioned Yule, someone else in that midfield. Maybe you get another person in there. It's a tricky spot here for the U.S., but it will be they have to play much better because it's going to be it should be a tougher opponent regardless of who they play. The wide players remember how early on it was Vines and Shaq Moore were almost at the same level of Dike and Zardes, and then they started going back and back and back and back and back. So those guys were helping out defensively, and they just absorbed a lot of pressure. And you look at it, Canada had some good chances, nothing superb. They obviously probably should have had a penalty shot, but that is it. So we'll get ready for the quarterfinals. The Soccer OG has you covered, and hopefully we'll be discussing a spot in the semifinals, maybe against Mexico. By the way, my friends at Fox Soccer keep flashing a bracket, and it doesn't make any sense because we don't know who we're going to play because most of the tournament hasn't played their final group game, so doesn't make any sense. Maybe 4 in the midfield.